Hey everybody, I have a few more things that I thought about over the last day, and a few comments, questions I saw in the YouTube comments that I wanted to respond to. So we're going to make a very short, genuinely short video by comparison to yesterday's video, with just a few more things, and at least one or two of these things are critically important that I didn't cover yesterday, didn't know about yesterday, and they're huge. They're huge. So let's get into it. First thing, let me answer a couple of quick questions here. One of the main questions I got this several times, and it's a good question. The question is, here's your normal Q. You just fire it off, whatever, it's that distance. And then if you put your gate up, your acceleration gate, and we launch our Q through it, it's fired over there, and goes all the way over there, right? So the question is, if you put your acceleration gate closer or further away, does it affect the range of the ability? In just a second, we're going to be able to determine that. No, exact same place. So there you go. It does not, depending on where you place it, does not affect the range of your Q. It's almost always going to be a better idea. In fact, I'm hard-pressed to think of any real situations where it wouldn't be a good idea to have that E put directly in front of you so it starts moving faster immediately. So you make sure that if it falls short, it still has that bonus damage. You don't want to place the gate out too far away from you if you're using it for that purpose. Okay. So that was the main question. Another quick question I had to do with his ranged armor reduction. And I need to have a lot of cooldown reduction for this. I need to have about 40%, maybe a little bit less. To demonstrate it, I've already tested this, but I don't have that cooldown reduction in this game. We had to restart the game. So I will just answer it straight out. The question is, when you're in your range form, when you switch between forms, if you switch into melee form, you get that bonus damage. If you switch back into range form, you get a armor magic resist reduction debuff that you apply to the target. So let's go ahead and switch over, and now my next attack, whenever it is, will apply a 5-second debuff to the target, reducing their armor magic resist. So here's the thing. The question was, if I apply that to a target, then immediately switch into hammer form, then immediately switch back, assuming you have cooldown reduction, you can actually fire another auto attack before the first one wears off. Does it stack for double the armor and magic resist reduction? The answer is no, it just refreshes it. So nothing special there, although it's kind of cool that you can just refresh it and have a really strong armor magic resist reduction on the player or the target or whatever. Another question we had was whether your hammer form bonus damage on your next attack applies on anything other than normal attacks. The quick answer is no. It only applies to your normal attack. So if you Q onto somebody, you're not going to waste it. Let's go ahead and switch over to hammer form. You're not going to waste it by doing that, but that next attack where you see the lightning coming down, that is the one that applied it. Only at normal attack. Same thing with your range form as well. I want to talk a little bit more about his jump Q in hammer form, where he jumps to the target and he slows. Right now I have the targeting reticule up, and you'll see that area around him, it slows everything in that too. It deals the damage, slows. It's a little AoE, which is pretty cool, but let's talk about what happens when you target it, but then the target flashes away. So if you see there, where you're targeting is where the target currently is. You don't actually just go all the way to the target, so it's not something like Nocturne's Ultimate or Maokai's Twisted Advance or anything like that. If the target flashes away or they can get out of range of your Q, they're not affected at all by the ability. It is an AoE on the target location, but if you can get away, you're going to be fine. So that's going to be very important in terms of counterplay against a good Jayce. Alright, one last thing. I brought this up in the movie notes, but this is pretty core. The difference between him and Lee Sin is he doesn't require a skill shot to get behind you and knock you back. He can actually just do it to a targeted minion. So let's go ahead and look at how this would work. Easily knock back into your teammates, into whatever, the imaginary team over here. So you can target on a minion, and you're going to be just fine to do that. Alright, the next thing I want to talk about is a mechanical thing that I have learned, and it's a pretty cool one. Your E, which is your melee E, rather, your knockback. Pretty simple, but right on over the wall. Ain't much you can do about it. And let's go ahead and place down this ward. And right on over the wall with our Q, too. So both of those abilities go over the wall. So why is it important that our Q and our E can go over walls? Well, there's one cool thing also. This is incredibly important. Your ranged Q grants vision. So anywhere there's fog of war, mainly bushes, if you want to check in bushes, if you want to do anything like that, you can actually check them very easily and see who's in there with your cue. It gives you a small radius of vision in that area where it lands, wherever it hits. So if it hits a target, obviously it's going to show vision over the target that you hit. So why is that important? Because it's super easy to combo it and just get right in here. So let's say we're trying to escape our lane. We've got some enemy just waiting in that bush. We're trying to get back to our team. Our team is purple team on the top half of the map. We just did a gank at mid, but we want to get back out, and we have a strong suspicion there is somebody in that bush right now. So what are we going to do about it? To get past them, what's the best thing we can do? This is it. Boom! Right on back over the edge. I could have just killed him, but totally safe escape. Again, very cool combo there, and it requires you to know that it gives vision on your range Q, that if you quickly dance over, you can get your Q off on them, and then you can use your E to knock them back over the wall.